Welcome to Aviate Hub. Today, we're diving into a story of survival, grit, and engineering brilliance. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more. You won't want to miss what's coming up. Picture a rugged Afghan valley in the 1980s, a place where danger lurks behind every mountain ridge and the air's thick with tension. Soviet Su-25 Rook jets roar low, providing close air support under relentless enemy fire. These pilots fly mere meters above the ground, threading their way through hostile terrain. The air crackles with gunfire and the hiss of missiles. Tracer rounds streak past, painting the sky with chaos. Every second in this hostile sky is a gamble. Pilots grip their controls, nerves stretched to the breaking point, knowing that survival is never guaranteed. Suddenly, a Stinger missile streaks upward, locking onto a Su-25's heat signature. The pilot has only moments to react. The missile hits, an explosion tears through the port wing. Metal shreds, alarms blare, and the aircraft shudders violently. For most jets, this would be the end. A fiery descent, a lost pilot, another casualty of war. But the Su-25 is no ordinary aircraft. It was built to survive the impossible. Despite a gaping hole and damaged controls, the pilot keeps it airborne. He fights the stick, coaxing the battered jet home. Its robust, redundant design absorbs the blow. Layers of armor and backup systems kick in, giving the pilot a fighting chance. The engines, armored and defiant, keep the jet flying. Even with one engine out, the Su-25 can limp home. The wounded Su-25 limps home, trailing smoke, a testament to its resilience and the determination of its pilot. Ground crews watch in disbelief as it lands, battered but intact. The pilot survives, shaken but alive. This isn't a rare miracle, it's what the Su-25 was built for. Again and again, it brings its pilots home. It's a machine designed not just to fight, but to endure. Battle scars are worn like badges of honor. The Su-25 is, in every sense, a flying tank, unyielding, relentless, and built to take punishment. Let's find out what makes this aircraft so tough and why it's become a legend among attack jets. The Su-25's toughness starts with its armor. The pilot sits in a welded titanium bathtub, up to 24 thick, shielding against armor-piercing rounds and shrapnel. This tub alone weighs nearly a ton. Protection was the top priority. Critical systems are armored too. Fuel tanks have explosion-suppressant foam and self-sealing covers. Engines are shielded by steel firewalls. Instead of vulnerable electronics, the Su-25 uses heavy-duty push rods for flight controls, with backups for redundancy. Over 7% of its takeoff weight is armor, a huge figure for any jet. From armored glass to steel-plated ammo bays, every inch is built to survive. This is what makes the Su-25 a true flying tank. The Su-25's story begins in the Cold War's heat. The Soviets needed a dedicated close air support jet, something existing fighters couldn't provide. Sukhoi's answer, the T-8 project, was inspired by Warplanes Il-2 Sturmovik. Simple, rugged, and survivable. The first prototype flew in 1975, tested for rough airstrips and heavy payloads. Pilot feedback shaped its cockpit and controls for real combat needs. Entering service in 1981, the Su-25 was built for frontline war, loitering over battlefields, absorbing fire, and clearing the way for ground troops. But how does it stack up against its rivals? The Su-25's closest Western rival is the A-10 Warthog. Both aircraft are built for close air support and have become legendary for their toughness and ability to take damage and keep flying. These jets are designed to fly low and slow, right into the thick of battle, supporting ground troops under fire. Both the Su-25 and the A-10 feature titanium armor and redundant flight controls, but the Su-25's armor is even more comprehensive, especially around its engines and fuel tanks. This extra protection means the Su-25 can absorb more punishment and still bring its pilot home safely, even after sustaining heavy damage. The Su-25's mechanical push rods are simpler and more damage-resistant than the A-10's hydraulic systems. This old-school approach means that even if the aircraft takes a hit, the pilot can still control the plane, making it incredibly reliable in the chaos of battle. The Su-25's smaller size and twin engines offer a different survival profile. Its compact frame makes it harder to hit, and the twin engines provide redundancy. If one is damaged, the other can often get the aircraft home. Multi-role fighters like the F-16 can't match this level of protection. They rely on speed, agility, and advanced countermeasures to avoid threats, but they simply don't have the heavy armor that lets the Su-25 shrug off direct hits and keep flying. The Su-25 is a true specialist, Built to survive and fight at low altitude, not just evade danger, it can operate from rough, damaged airstrips close to the front lines, giving it a unique edge in supporting ground forces where other jets can't go. Attack helicopters like the Apache are formidable, but they can't match the Su-25's payload or resilience. The Su-25 can carry more weapons, fly faster, and survive hits that would bring a helicopter down. The Su-25 is a unique beast, purpose-built to take punishment and keep flying, even when the odds are stacked against it. Its ruggedness is legendary among pilots and ground crews alike. But what does this mean for pilots in real combat? For those flying the Su-25, it means a fighting chance to survive missions that would be fatal in other aircraft, and the confidence to get close to the action when it matters most. Let's see the armor in action, and witness how the Su-25's design gives its pilots the edge in the world's most dangerous skies. For Su-25 pilots, armor is a lifesaver and a confidence booster. Knowing you're encased in titanium lets you fly lower, slower, and more accurately, even under fire. The armored windscreen and cockpit deflect bullets and shrapnel, letting pilots focus on the mission. During attack runs, the Su-25 is most vulnerable, but its robust airframe and engine armor absorb hits that would down other jets. If a fuel tank is punctured, explosion-suppressant foam and self-sealing layers prevent disaster. Redundant controls mean the jet can still fly even with severe damage. This resilience ensures pilots can return home, even in a crippled aircraft. The armor doesn't just protect during the attack, it gets pilots back to base, ready to fight another day. The Su-25's real-world record proves its worth. Let's look at some incredible survival stories. The Su-25's combat history is filled with survival stories that seem almost impossible to believe. Nicknamed the Flying Tank, this aircraft has earned a reputation for returning home against all odds, time and time again. In Afghanistan, Su-25's often returned to base, with dozens of bullet holes, and even visible missile damage. Pilots and ground crews would marvel at the aircraft's ability to keep flying despite the punishment it took. There are stories of pilots flying 150 kilometers back to safety after losing an engine to a missile, navigating through hostile skies with smoke trailing behind them, determined to bring their aircraft home. Alexander Rutskoy, a decorated pilot, survived 2 missile hits in a single mission. His Su-25 stayed airborne just long enough for him to eject and survive, a testament to the jet's rugged construction and the bravery of its pilots. On average, an Su-25 could absorb between 80 and 150 hits from small arms fire and still make it back to base. This astonishing record set it apart from other aircraft in its class, earning respect from both allies and adversaries. Maintenance crews routinely discovered unexploded shells and shrapnel lodged deep within the airframe. The Su-25's armor and redundant systems often meant the difference between life and death for its pilots. In more recent wars, including the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, Su-25s have landed with shredded wings, missing tail sections, and severe structural damage, yet still managed to bring their pilots home. One Ukrainian pilot even flew his Su-25 back to base after a missile nearly tore off his tail fin, demonstrating the aircraft's incredible resilience and the skill of those who fly it. These stories aren't just legends, they're proof that the Su-25's design philosophy, focused on survivability and simplicity, truly works in the chaos of real-world combat. Decades after its first flight, the legacy of this flying tank endures. The Su-25 remains a symbol of toughness and reliability on the modern battlefield. In an era of stealth and high-tech jets, the Su-25 might seem outdated, but its mission, protecting ground troops in the thick of battle, remains vital. Its heavy armor and redundancy have kept it relevant for over 40 years. Modern upgrades, like the Su-25SM-3, add new tech while keeping the classic toughness. The Su-25 still serves on front lines worldwide, proving that brute force and simplicity can outlast complexity. It's more than a war machine. It's a symbol of resilience and purpose-driven design. The Su-25's legacy is written in the lives it's saved and the missions it's completed. It endures not because it's the fastest, but because it's the toughest. The flying tank's legend lives on, a true icon of military aviation.